The world is full of wonderful creatures. Some of them are still unknown and some are declared myths. However, this lucky man gets a personal letter from a mythical creature who needs his urgent help. Sir Lionel Frost is a young man with a huge curiosity for discovering new creatures. Despite his talent and hard work, he hasn't gotten any recognition. Today, he's going after a sea creature. His assistant, Mr. Lint, advises him to give up as the sun is setting in already. Lionel is a determined man and he ignores what others say. After reaching the right location, he starts playing music, as it is rumored to attract a special sea creature, though it seemed unreal. The mysterious sea creature exists for real. It rises above the water and tries scaring away the humans. Lionel is more excited than afraid. He ties a rope around the fish and asks Mr. Lint to hold it while he takes a picture. The fish loses its temper and grabs Mr. Lint in its mouth. Lionel doesn't panic at all and jumps in the water to save his assistant. After they get back in the boat, the fish throws them out of the water. Unfortunately, the camera gets destroyed and the evidence is lost. Lionel is ready to go back in the sea to get another picture, but Mr. Lint resigns. He can't risk his life every day. Lionel feels disheartened and he picks up a random letter out of the hundreds of mails sent to him. It turns out to be a jackpot. Someone has given him the address to find an actual Bigfoot. Lionel grabs the footprint he had saved and rushes to the organization named Society of Great Men. He interrupts the meeting to announce his discovery. The society is led by Lord Piggot-Dunceby, who hates Lionel because he always brings useless or incomplete research work. But Lionel is determined to make a remarkable discovery and become a member of the Society of Great Men. Lord Piggot makes fun of him and claims that Bigfoot is just a myth. There's no way anyone can prove its existence. In response, Lionel challenges Lord Piggot. If he succeeds in proving Bigfoot's existence, Lord Piggot has to accept him from the Society of Great Men. Otherwise, he will not show his face again. Lord Piggot accepts the challenge as he has nothing to lose. However, he doesn't want to take any risk. Though he doesn't say it publicly, Lord Piggot knows that Lionel is a talented man who can achieve the impossible. To assure that he doesn't succeed, Lord Piggot hires a thug to kill Lionel. Meanwhile, Lionel gets on his ship towards a great discovery. He reaches the other city and walks to the middle of the forest that was mentioned in the letter. He suddenly notices a giant peeking through the trees. Lionel runs after him and finally witnesses the great creature with his eyes. It's Bigfoot. He's real. The more astonishing fact is that the beast can actually speak English. He can also read and write. The letter Lionel received was also written by Bigfoot. He takes Lionel to his cave as he wants his help. Bigfoot read about Lionel in the newspaper. His interest in mythical creatures is what Bigfoot needs. He is lonely as he is the last member of his species. But then he learned that Bigfoots and Yetis are cousins. He wants to join their family, and Lionel is the one who can help Bigfoot in finding them. In return, Bigfoot will provide him all the evidence Lionel needs for his research. It's a fair deal. Lionel knows the perfect plan to find the Yetis. His late friend and a great researcher, Aldous Fortnight, had designed a map to find the mythical snow creatures. He died during his journey to the Himalayas, but his map is still protected by his wife as it was the last thing Aldous held in his hands. However, Lionel is not in good terms with Aldous' wife Adelina, as she was also Lionel's ex-girlfriend. Despite this fact, Lionel wants to try convincing her. But first, he needs a fake identity for Bigfoot. He still has the papers of Mr. Lint, so he decides to use them after replacing the T with K, so now Bigfoot is called as Mr. Link. Lionel covers the beast with a cloth and gets in a bar to find a place to spend the night. The thug named Stank, whom Lord Piggot hired, has reached the bar. Lionel recognizes him immediately as he is notorious for killing many rare creatures except Bigfoot. However, Stank is ready to kill Bigfoot now along with Lionel. On hearing this, Lionel doesn't run away in fear. Instead, he fights back bravely and also advises Mr. Link to defend himself. They both survive, but Lionel fails to catch Stank, and the notorious criminal disappears in thin air. The next morning, Lionel goes to meet Adelina and tells Mr. Link to wait outside. Adelina is not happy to see Lionel. He didn't even come to Aldous' funeral, and now he appeared just for his selfish needs. Adelina reminds Lionel that he left her alone while Aldous stood beside her side. When he died on the snowy mountain, he was holding the map tightly in his hand. It's an important memory of him, and Adelina can't give it away. Lionel offers to pay money, and this statement makes Adelina more angry. She kicks him out for the house, but he comes again during the night. When everyone is asleep, Lionel and Mr. Link break into the house and they try cracking the locker. Mr. Link decides to take the whole locker out of the window, but the noise wakes up everyone. Adelina rushes to catch them, but Lionel and Mr. Link runs away in time along with the map. The next morning, they disguise themselves as ladies to get away from Adelina, but she finds them anyway. She has brought a gun to threaten Lionel, but gets interrupted by Stank. He shoots blindly, and Lionel and Adelina hide away along with Mr. Link. Adelina is fed up with the lonely walls of her house. She also wants to join Lionel's journey, and he is not in a position to say no. Lionel pretends that he is on the train, and Stank gets tricked while Lionel chooses an alternative route to his destination. On the way, he discusses the map with his team. After passing through New York and London, they will reach the European continent, and then travel through India. From there, they can have a comfortable journey to the Himalayas, and reach their destination, which is known as Shangri-La. It has many names, and legends say that it is a magical place where humans never grow old. But Aldous believed that it was a place where humans didn't evolve, and still exist in the form of creatures like Mr. Link. There's no exact location of this valley, but Aldous has found a way. He knew a mountain guide named Gamu, who was aware of all the secret passages on the mountains. Once they find Shangri-La, they will find the Yetis. Hearing this, Mr. Link growls in excitement. On reaching the seaport, Mr. Link gets really nervous, but Lionel forces him to hurry up. Stank is still after them, and he will not rest till he kills them. That's true. Stank has found them, and he sends a letter to Lord Piggot about the location of Lionel. Lord Piggot orders his assistant to hire more thugs and bribe the port authorities, so there's no chance for Lionel to escape. After getting on the boat, Lionel offers a drink to Adelina as a peace offering, but Adelina believes that Lionel should pay attention to Mr. Link instead. The poor creature thinks too highly of Lionel, who is the last hope for him, but Lionel treats him so rudely. Adelina advises Lionel to try having a conversation with Bigfoot and help the poor guy feel lighter. Lionel does as she said and listens to Mr. Link's thoughts. He is having a deep and continuous pain in his chest that suffocates him. It's because of a dream that hasn't come true yet. Lionel can relate to that feeling as he also longed for becoming the greatest adventurer in the world. He wants his name written in history, but Mr. Link doesn't even have a meaningful name, so Lionel asks him to choose one for himself. Mr. Link mentions a prospector named Susan who visited his cave one day. She didn't get scared on seeing him but smiled instead. Mr. Link wants to be named after that prospector. He doesn't care even if it's a girl's name. Lionel wishes Mr. Link a good night and walks away, but he runs into Stank, who is pointing a gun at Adelina. She gets away from him, but he starts fighting Lionel. The ship enters a storm and it starts shaking rapidly. Adelina falls off the ship and Mr. Link rushes to save her. While Lionel is running away from Stank, who is following him with an axe, Lionel runs through the corridor and locks it afterward. Meanwhile, Mr. Link saves Adelina and joins Lionel. They get in a lifeboat and escape. Stank reaches the shore and informs Lord Piggot about his failure. Lord Piggot loses his patience and decides to catch Lionel by himself. Lionel and his mates take a train to the European continent and travel through the Indian forests. They reach the Himalayas and try communicating with the locals. A young lady notices them and reveals that she is Gamu's granddaughter. She takes them to Gamu, but warns them of the old lady's short temper. They must not trigger her, and especially not mention the chicken sitting on her head. Gamu offers them yak meat soup and yak butter tea. They both taste awful, but they had to eat to keep Gamu satisfied. Lionel finally asks about the Lost Valley, but Gamu says the valley is not lost. It's hidden by itself, and the people looking for it are lost. She refuses to cooperate at first, but Lionel explains that he just wants Mr. Link to find his family. Gamu agrees to help and gives direction to her daughter. Lionel and his mates leave for their destination, but Lord Piggot also finds Gamu. He threatens to kill her grandson and forces her to reveal the directions to Shangri-La. Mr. Link gets really excited to see the footsteps of the Yetis. He rushes to his lost cousins and offers a handshake. The Yetis are more rude than expected, and they take the guest to their elder Yeti. She recognizes Mr. Link as their cousin, but she isn't happy to see him. She takes them to show the hidden valley of Shangri-La, which people believe to be a myth. Afterwards, she addresses that this heavenly place only belongs to the Yetis, and there's no place for Mr. Link. But she can't let them return, as their valley must be kept a secret. The elder orders her guards to throw Mr. Link and his mates inside the inescapable pit of isolation. Mr. Link quietly lies in a corner while Lionel is worried that he will not get accepted in the society of great men. Adelina gets angry at Lionel's selfish behavior. Mr. Link has lost his will to live, but Lionel is only thinking about a stupid club. Why does he even want to be with the people who don't like him or believe what Lionel believes in? Adelina says that Lionel and Mr. Link are the same, as they want to fit in a place where they don't belong. The great man Lionel is just a myth. This statement triggers Lionel, and he gets up to prove himself. He promised Mr. Link to find a place for him, and he will. Mr. Link throws Adelina outside, and she helps them climb up too. They run away from the palace and reach the ice bridge, but Lord Piggot is on the other side. He declares that Lionel will never get accepted in the society of great men, but Lionel doesn't want that anyway. He has enjoyed great adventures and found a great friend. This matters more than the stupid club. Lord Piggot gets angry and shoots on the bridge. He wants Lionel to die here so no one will know about his great discoveries. But the action backfires and Lord Piggot falls down himself while Lionel is hanging down on the other end along with his mates. Stank can save them, but he refuses to do so out of personal grudge. The karma instantly and Stank falls down himself while Lionel climbs up along with his mates. He offers Adelina to take a new start with him, but right now she wants to discover herself. After saying goodbye to her, Lionel and Mr. Link return home. This is not the end, but the start of endless adventures. Lionel and Mr. Link don't need others to accept them. They will create an identity of their own. You don't need anyone's approval to know your worth. You can do great things just by being yourself.